Welcome back, everybody. Parents' rights are still one of the most raging issues in America, whether it's in elections in Washington, D.C., or at the local school board. Joining us now, someone who's on the front lines of that extraordinary fight, the co-founder of the Parents Demanding Justice Alliance, Kelly Walker. Kelly, great to have you here.
Great to be back here.
All right, a lot of people probably don't know your story. Remind people of the extraordinary story, what you went through.
Sure. It's a long story, but essentially the federal government attacked my family because we stood up for school children. We saw the terrible things that were being done to children. We had a coffee shop in Tucson, Arizona at the time. So we had a lot of people coming and telling us our story. So I was sentenced to 100 days in jail and $10,000 in fines for speaking.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
A thought crime.
And you know, I think that people maybe would excuse this away, unfortunately, in a deep, deep blue state. This is Arizona. It's a swing state.
Sure, yeah, and we have parents, we've put together a dossier of parents all over the country, and most, yes, are Republicans, but we have Democrats and progressives, and what was done to parents was to take away their rights and to criminalize them. Merrick Garland, as you know, created this memo October 4th of 2021 calling parents domestic terrorists and mobilizing FBI resources under the Patriot Act. So it's very egregious what they did to parents.
It is. Now they treated you like you're a terrorist. All right, so you didn't make any threats. You didn't act violently. You just simply advocated for your child, right?
Yes.
And for that, you got 100 days in jail.
Yeah, and the most important thing, though, is that I advocated for everyone's children because I had a voice, we had a public place. So the other two dads who sat in the same office meeting with me, they got $250 fines. Wow. I think they call that class of one legally, where they penalize someone because they don't like them, and they didn't like me because I had a voice.
Unbelievable.
So did you put up signs at your business that said, we're not going to serve you if you don't believe like we do? I mean, what was so egregious about what you said?
Absolutely not. Well, I was actually arrested twice. The first time was because we were supposedly out of compliance, even though we had passed every COVID inspection. So the whole thing was a setup, and from that point forward, they started watching me. And then people saw that stand that I took because I was publicly arrested on television, again, for speaking at a Board of Supervisors meeting. So people started coming and saying, hey, can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? So no, we welcomed everyone. I have a scientific background. I had my opinion on masks and everything else, but we wanted everyone who were customers to feel comfortable. So no, we absolutely didn't have any signs like that. We weren't overtly political, but we were targeted politically.
Became an enemy of the state just for standing up for your own beliefs. All right, so you stood up once for parents, gave them a voice, you paid a price, but now you're working to get an executive order from the White House. Tell us about that. It's really important.
We are. I've been in D.C. since Monday. I've had several trips out here. I'm going to be back next week. I'm with Sharona Bishop. We both work for Mike Lindell, among other things.
Sure.
And we've been out here talking to everyone, and we have a whole coalition of people that are working on this. Sam Sorbo's flying in tonight. Actually, we're all going to get together. And I know that people have talked to Pam Bondi. I know it's very important to Pam. It's very important to Harmeet Dhillon. And yes, we do want an executive order from the president because, first of all, we know that this administration didn't do these things to people, but we would like an apology to these parents from the federal government for what was done. We have the smoking gun, we know what was done. And then we want restitution for the parents who actually suffered economic harm. People lost homes, lost jobs, they went to jail, and the whole thing was fraudulent. We know that, we have all the information on it. So we're so glad this administration's here. In fact, Sharona and I just met with Ed Martin, had a great meeting with him. We've talked to Vince Haley. We feel like this is going in a good direction, and we appreciate everything that President Trump and the administration are doing.
And this would protect future parents, right? It would set a standard that the government couldn't do this in the future. Is that right?
It would, yes. So the apology is important. It's going to help people because people's families have divided over this. So if the federal government comes forward and said, yep, we were wrong, that's going to help with family relationships. The restitution is important because people need to be restored to the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness they had before their own government attacked them. And then justice. We have to go after the people who did this and make them answer for what they did.
That's so crazy.
All right, so apology, restitution, protection, justice, these 4 elements within that executive order. But for you personally, what's the status update on you? Because I think last time we talked to you, you were in Tennessee.
Yes, I'm in Tennessee, and my 10-year-old daughter, she's wonderful. I think she inherited my forceful at times personality. She said,
Tenacity.
I want to tell President Trump he needs to get me a new bunk bed because they took our home and
Look at
included her
that. She's
bunk
got an
bed.
angle.
Those
doesn't
are the
she?
types of requests I feel like he appreciates.
So we're getting by, but it's been tough, and we're trying to make ends meet. And I'm coming up here every so often. I get donations to help me come up here, but I'm glad to be in the fight. It's not been an easy road, but thank you guys so much for having me on.
It's such an important conversation. People can't believe this is happening in our country, but it's even worse overseas now in places like Great Britain, Italy. It's crazy. Real quickly, Congress. You think Congress gets involved at some point too?
They have been involved.
Yeah,
In fact,
yeah.
the first congressman who reached out to me was Jim Jordan.
Yeah.
Eli Crane has been very helpful. Andy Biggs, good friend from Arizona.
Yeah.
And Andy Ogles sponsored a presser we had on July 15th. So we definitely have members of Congress fighting for us, but we got to bring everybody together and do right by these incredible families.
You fired the first shot. You've got this started. Now I got momentum. So it's an amazing thing. Kelly, great to have you on the show. Thank you, and congrats on the fight you're winning. All right, folks, we're going to take a little bit break. We'll be back with more news right after these messages. Hey, America, let me bring you up to speed on a quiet but urgent issue. CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies, are being developed by 134 countries. These digital dollars will give governments the ability to track every transaction and limit how you use your own money. This includes setting expiration dates on your savings or locking your account without notice. American Alternative Assets is warning Americans now before it's too late. They published a free digital guide called the Digital Dollar Trap. It outlines the risks and shows how to use physical gold to protect your retirement savings. If you're concerned about privacy and control of your finances, this guide is for you. Here's how you get it. Call 1-855-465-3340 or visit johnlikesgold.com to get your free copy. That's 1-855-465-3340 or go to johnlikesgold.com. Get the facts, secure your future.